hours. In 30 minutes, they're going to tee this up and kick off the divisional playoffs in Kansas City. Jacksonville against the Chiefs. Hello, everybody. This is Appa Brian and Appa Baseball Classics with our Picks to Post show. And I'm joined by Dan Mattingly. Hi, Dan.
Hey, Brian. How are we doing today?
We are doing great. And we're joined by Appa Lori, who will be behind the curtain doing some things for us and also giving us her picks. She won the channel of all of us present in person, 65% this year.
And then she fell on her sword last week.
Yeah, you had a tough one.
Well, we all do. You never had a losing week, and some of us had more than one. Me too. All right. Kansas City and Philadelphia are the one seeds in this tournament. Doesn't always mean anything. Last year, it was the Tennessee Titans, and they were one and done. And in the NFC, it was the Green Bay Packers, and they were one and done. We hope we're not one and done this time around. Dan, I'm going to play some video of Kadarius Toney running the football, even from the halfback position. And I noticed this a few weeks ago, and I'd like to know what vintage running back maybe he might remind you of.
Think hard, Dan. Think hard.
You can
already a 7-3 lead. Last few plays of this first quarter. It's Kadarius Toney. First down yardage.
Humphrey got called for the hold, I believe. That's incorrect.
Well, it wasn't Toney either.
Here's Toney. Takes the end around into the end zone.
Guys over Kansas City. Chiefs' best start point, 41-yard line. Up 7-0. Toney gets the handoff. And Toney runs it for about 30. Defensive holding. Wow. How about that? To Toney. Slips right through that
Wow, you see him. It just had a style that kind of made an impression on me. Is anybody coming to mind?
He's very smooth. There's a few great ones out there. Mercury Morris. What you think?
Well, he's a little shorter.
A little bit.
But that's about that era.
Oh, there we go.
Give it another shot, Dan.
Another shot. Oh, boy.
One more.
Well, you could always go with a gentleman whose career was cut short with a knee injury that wouldn't have been a big deal these days. Gale Sayers.
Syncrasies. I always sort of equated his running style to ballet, Nijinsky. He had that kind of beauty.
This is more than a subtle hint that we want to see more Kadarius Toney running the football. He's averaging 11.8 yards per carry. I think he's had about 5 carries. But that might be on the plate for the playoffs. You never know.
Got to be. And it's nice to see him out there. We were kind of missing that McCole Hardman jet sweep aspect of the offense, and he's really added a lot of great yards after catch for him. And whenever he's healthy, he seems to score, which is a huge spark.
We won't have Hardman. He did not practice today. He still has that abdominal injury. But anyway, let's get started. First game up on Saturday at 3:30 on NBC is the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Kansas City Chiefs.
Jacksonville is seeded number 4, and they're 9-8, and they're playing the Kansas City Chiefs, who are seeded number 1. They're 14-3, and they're favored by 8.5 points.
Well, Jacksonville really benefited from a complete and utter collapse by the Chargers this past week. I couldn't believe that they kind of did what the Chiefs did against the Bengals in last year's playoffs. We really, that was the same thing where you play a great first half and then 3 points in the second half in the playoffs just isn't going to get it done. Yes, Lawrence really did bounce back from a tough beginning to the game, but it was it got the offensive coordinator of the Chargers fired. The performance of his quarterback Justin Herbert and that offense, they just really couldn't find a way to move the ball. They wouldn't run the ball. I didn't understand that. When you're playing against the clock, you should run the ball. So yeah, Chargers, we kind of picked on them for having the weakest coaching staff in the playoffs, and man, they came through with that. Chiefs, they got the much needed bye. They're going to be rested, and I think they're just going to have too much for this Jaguars team to keep up with. I expect a couple of opportunistic turnovers forced by the Chiefs defense, and I think they should roll in this one.
Hi, Bruins fan. Thanks for joining us. And Bruins fan thought that Kadarius Toney reminded him of Marcus Allen. That's another very good choice. Yeah, very similar running style to Marcus Allen as well.
In the pocket, fires, and that'll be caught for the touchdown. Evan Ingram.
Did you notice the score on that scoreboard when that play started? Chargers 27 and Jacksonville 0. That is the third greatest comeback in NFL playoff history. You were right about Charger coaching. Today they fired Joe Lombardi, the offensive coordinator. But I kind of think Lombardi is taking the fall for the head coach myself. Yeah, definitely. Jacksonville, I think their football team in Jacksonville is going to open up the stadium for their fans to pile in and watch the game on Jumbotron. They did that before back in the 90s one time when they had 40,000 people come in and watch them win a playoff game. And they're thinking about doing it again tomorrow. I'm curious to see how many Jacksonville fans travel. Reading their paper from this morning, one of their fans said there'll be thousands coming to Kansas City. Hope they stay at the Westin next door. We will be glad to see them and meet them and greet them as they come. Jacksonville's defense has allowed only 18 points per game since week 14. That is 8th in the NFL. Their offensive line is very strong. Mm-hmm. They only allowed 27 sacks. Compared to Kansas City, we have allowed 26, so about the same there. They got a 4,000-yard passer in Trevor Lawrence. We got a 1,000-yard rusher in Travis Etienne. We don't have a 1,000-yard rusher. Jacksonville is showing up with some credentials for sure. Now, as I mentioned, the Chiefs are not going to have Mecole Hardman. They haven't had him for some time. I think this game could be a shootout. We got up ahead of them last time we played in week 10, 21-0, and then they came back, and I think it ended up 27-17, 10-point differential. You might be glad to know we will not be getting Carl Cheffers' referee crew.
Thank goodness. We would have lost.
Be working in Buffalo and Cincinnati.
Oh, wow.
Poor Buffalo, poor Cincinnati. We're getting Sean Hockley's crew. Should be better.
A little better. Yeah.
We talked about Trevor Lawrence. He threw for 4,000 yards. Patrick Mahomes threw for 5,250 yards this year. 41 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 8 yards per pass attempt. I'm liking the Chiefs. I don't think it's going to be a wild blowout, but Andy Reid is 24-7 after a bye, and he has had a little extra time to think about this game.
Yes.
So, also the last time they came out, they played a four-quarter game that game, and it's absolutely going to take a four-quarter game against Jacksonville because they're going to bring it for 4 quarters. But I think we're capable of doing that. Chris Jones, 15.5 sacks, 17 tackles for loss. Did he get Defensive Player of the Year?
No, they're doing Nick Bosa.
Bummer.
Yeah.
That's not a bad choice, but
It is. Yeah.
I thought Chris Jones was a better help in run defense
Mhm.
than Nick Bosa.
Yeah, Bosa just had the stats. He led the league in every rushing category that there is, or pass rushing category.
Well, how many sacks? He had about 18 and a half sacks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's only 3 more than Chris Jones from the defensive end position. Anyway, I'm picking Kansas City. Jacksonville, thanks for flying United. Have a safe trip home.
I'm
like
also picking Kansas City. So
Now we got
we're all on that one.
Justin's picks ahead of time, and Justin, my son, who was on the show all last year, couldn't be this year, but he got us his picks, and he is picking Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Great.
Okay, next game up, New York Giants at the Philadelphia Eagles.
So we got the 6-seeded New York Giants, who are 9-7-1. They're playing the number 1-seeded Philadelphia Eagles, who are 14-3. Philly's favored by 7.5 points.
This is really tough. I think Daniel Jones is playing as well as any quarterback in the NFC right now. He's probably the best quarterback in the NFC with Hurts coming back from an injury, which is shocking to say. I mean, when you talk about Prescott and the others, but Jones, the way he moves the ball is very impressive. He's really developed rapport with a lot of guys that they got off of practice squads that are playing receiver for him. Defense is solid over there in New York, and it's about getting hot at the right time. I think that the Eagles got hot at the wrong time. I think that they have the most talented roster probably in the league, maybe a little short of the Niners, but they're missing key pieces, and they're getting guys back that maybe aren't completely healthy. Also, hard to beat a team 3 times in a year. I wanted to talk myself into the Giants, and a lot of me wants to pick them. But man, the Eagles, they're home. They've got the pressure this season on them, and I think Hurts is going to come to play. I think they've been very careful bringing him back. And I really do think that they may have New York's number in this one. Even with all the reasons that I listed against it happening, I've got the Eagles.
Okay, Justin also has Philadelphia.
So the defense.
A little pitch. Barkley looking for a seam. Great cut. Saquon Barkley in for the touchdown.
There were a ton
Minnesota's
of highlights.
defense is terrible.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. There were a ton of highlights that we could have chosen from. And the recurring theme in those highlights, especially on the pass receptions, is wide open.
Yeah,
Hudson,
every time.
Wide open. Slayton, wide open. They were not covering anybody. So New York's going to find it's going to be a little different environment when they come play Philadelphia. They're not going to be wide open like that. Philadelphia has an outstanding secondary. I would agree with you. I give Daniel Jones the edge over Jalen Hurts right now. We talked about last week their stats. They're both 67% passers, and Jones is over 3,200 yards, and that's about exactly where Jalen Hurts is. 15-5 touchdown interceptions. Hurts is a little more touchdowns, but it's a similar situation there. Hurts has a few more scoring touchdowns but they also do design running plays for Daniel Jones, just like they do for Jalen Hurts. And in this game, they might not be doing design running plays as much for Jalen Hurts. They kind of asked him in the press conference today, and they also asked Sirianni about the condition of Jalen's shoulder, and both were very non-committal about that. So
tough. Not a good sign.
This game was the last game that I picked.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah, it's a tough one. It is.
I think the Giants have a great coach, but the Philly has an elite defense. The Giants are concentrating. We've been saying this for 3 weeks now. They're concentrating on throwing to their wide receivers more. And I keep getting his Hodgins had over 100 yards last week. Slayton also had some key catches. And I like the Giants' defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence. But I don't like him as much as one of the media members who said today that Dexter Lawrence right now is playing as well as any defensive tackle in the league. No. His stats are 7.5 sacks, 7 tackles for loss. That's about half what Chris Jones did this year. So he is playing well now, but not playing the best in the league. One thing that surprised me when I was looking at the stats too, Eagles' offensive line has given up 44 sacks this year.
Yeah, that's I mean, with Hurts being a mobile quarterback, they're going to give up a little more than they would with maybe a stationary guy, but that's a lot. And I mean,
yeah,
Lane Johnson's a huge hole for them.
He says he's going to play, but
how healthy is he going to be?
Yeah, how he's going to be able to play, that's in question. His injury is a core muscle that's going to need surgery at the end of the season. But he's given up no sacks since week 11, 2020. That's 922 pass blocking sack plays without a sack.
That's a heck of a
Well, we're hoping he can play.
Yeah.
Big time. Philadelphia can match the Shaquille Barkley with Sanders. Miles Sanders rushed for 1,269 yards. A.J. Brown, 1,496 yards, almost 1,588 catches. And Devontae Smith had 95 catches for 1,196. So there are stars all over the field. And by the way, Philadelphia's defense is completely healthy now. So
that's scary.
Yeah. When they're all healthy, that just makes them each better.
Yeah.
Because that eliminates the double teams. All right. We have a guest joining us. I invited Philip Reynolds. And let's see, I'm going to get him on.
Oops. You just shut him off.
Okay.
There you go.
Hey guys, good to see you. Oh, wait a second. I'm in the wrong room. I see people with red. Where's the orange and black room?
I don't know any orange and black shit.
Down the hall.
Okay, Philip has his own channel. It's a great tabletop sports channel. He also does devotionals sometimes on his channel.
Yeah, I just yesterday I did a unboxing of a new Bible I got. I got an ESV concise Bible for a discipleship class that I'm getting ready to start next week. And it's a paper book, and it has all the study notes at the bottom, and it has the maps, and it's all in black and white.
Very good. I used to use a Ryrie.
It only cost me $20.
Oh, that's a good price.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. You can find it at the Christian Book for you can get it at Christian Book for $15, and you can get it at Amazon for about $20.
Nice.
Okay, I used to use a Ryrie study Bible with the notes at the bottom. I used to enjoy quite a bit. Now, Philip, we have talked about already the first game, Jacksonville and Kansas City. And
I tell you what, with that, my thoughts on that is how. I mean, excuse my language here, but how the hell do you have a 27-point lead and give it away?
Poor coaching.
Bad.
I mean, the only thing that to me is it's got to be a time management issue type thing,
And that's poor coaching.
And when I did, and I talked to Brian earlier. I texted him earlier, and I told him on my Fast Drive 2.0, I don't have actual sheets, but I have the PDFs, and I use my phone when I do it.
Mm-hmm.
It basically I'm just using the dice and looking at the charts on my phone, and and the score was 20-19 in favor of the Jags. I mean, and it winds up being 31-30, so that's not really that bad.
Yeah. On the Kansas City Jacksonville game, who does Philip think are going to win that game?
Which one?
Jacksonville, Kansas City.
I have to say Kansas City on this one, and I think it will definitely be somewhere in the spread of 4 to 7 points.
Okay. Kansas City's favored by 8.5, but we're just picking straight up winners. Bruins fan has the next game, Eagles, in a close one. Lori, have we asked you yet?
Oh, Eagles for sure.
And Philip, Dan and I have already talked about the New York Philly game. You live pretty close to Philadelphia. I'm sure you got some thoughts on this one.
Actually, this one really depends on how healthy the Philadelphia quarterback is, and I really, because if he's at say 90-95%, this could be a blowout, but I'm not sure of his health, and I really the Giants were my upset pick last week anyway, but that's because Minnesota has this trend of being 2 points behind with 5 seconds to go, and you could give them a 2-yard field goal attempt and they'd still miss it. That's how bad they are. But I honestly think that I'm sticking with the Giants on this one. I think that they pull an upset and the only reason why I say that is because I don't think Philly's quarterback is healthy enough.
I was very close to the same decision. Philip, Dan, and Bruins fan Lori, and everybody picked Philadelphia, but boy, it would not shock me at all if New York upsets the number 1 seed. Last year, both number 1 seeds were one and done, and it could happen here. All right, we're ready for our next game, and that is the Cincinnati Bengals at the Buffalo Bills. Lori?
So we got the third seeded Cincinnati Bengals who are 12-4, and they're playing the second seeded Buffalo Bills who are 13-3. And Buffalo is favored by 5 points.
Dan, what do you think?
Tough one. I think both of these teams looked a lot more shaky than I expected them to in their first games. Allen, really a lot of questionable throws, taking the ball deep when he didn't need to. And that Ravens defense is good, but man, I didn't think they were good enough to keep them in that game. Burrow and company have a lot to prove here. It should be a great game. It's the one I'm looking forward to the most. Going to be a shootout. I got the Bills at home.
Put them right around Hundley. He reaches. Oh, that ball's out. That's live. Back the other way. Sam Hubbard, the Cincinnati Kid. Hubbard's got a convoy. Chased by Andrews. At the 30, the 20, he will score!
A lot of people are saying that the Bengals were lucky, but luck happens when you're in the right place, the right time. Somebody had to knock the ball out of Huntley's hand. That was Logan Wilson, who punched the ball out just inches short of the goal line. And then the ball goes right to Sam Hubbard, who has the speed to take it 98 yards as a defensive end for a 14-point turnaround last week. Probably the biggest play, it's got to be the biggest play in Bengals history, I would think, for sure. That was a hard physical game between Cincinnati and Baltimore. And the concern here for Cincinnati is Jonah Williams went out with a dislocated kneecap.
Yeah.
Alex Kappa missed that game with an injured ankle, I believe it is. And he is still questionable, although I hear he's getting better and may be able to play. And, of course, they lost Lyle Collins. They had the same starters the first 15 weeks of the season on the offensive line. And we watched them grow week in, week out, and they became a really top-line elite offensive line, those 15 guys. But now with 3 of them missing, that could be a problem going into this game. Both teams, Buffalo and Cincinnati, I really believe are refocused on football after the DeMar Hamlin injury. I think we're going to see a very entertaining game for, let's see, Buffalo.
All those guys up in there, got to get it out. 3rd and 15. Got it away just in time. Is it there? Yes, it is. Down to the 2-yard line.
Josh Allen was bombs away against the Miami Dolphins, and I don't know if he can do that against Cincinnati. Cincinnati is especially good at playing deep coverages, and Chiefs know that firsthand, having lost it in the last 3 games.
Yeah.
So will Josh Allen keep trying to throw the ball deep like he did against Miami, or will he defer it and throw the ball a little shorter like Mahomes has come to do when he plays Cincinnati? Buffalo, as I mentioned, has the Buffalo-Cincinnati game. Philip has the Carl Cheffers crew. They are the least favorite referee crew in Kansas City. I mean, really, when they come here, it's been like normally the Chiefs will have a few penalties a game. When Cheffers' crew comes up, we'll have 10 or 12 penalties over ridiculous things, and that's not just happened once. That's happened about the last 3 times we've had that crew. So we started the show saying, poor Cincy, poor Buffalo, they got Cheffers' crew. But in this game, I am going to pick the Buffalo Bills, but holy cow, I could go either way. In fact, if Cincinnati wins this game, this is the helmet I'll be referring to them the rest of the way. It's twice as big as the rest of them. Philip, who you got? Do I need to ask?
This one's really tough for me because I'm hoping, first of all, that the Bengals really pay close attention to that second half where the Dolphins kind of at the beginning of the second quarter, they rushed Josh Allen and they got the fumble and they got the touchdown as a result. If they can force Josh Allen to hurry up and do some stuff that he's not expected to do, they've got a shot. The thing is the Bengals have to worry about their Swiss cheese defense and their burnt toast safeties because you cannot throw the Bills cannot, the Bengals cannot allow the Bills to throw and get 5, 10, 15 yards after the catch. That's why it was so bad. I mean, it was so hard to watch that Baltimore Cincy game because they were giving them anywhere from 5 to 10 yards after the catch. But if they can hurry up Josh Allen and they can contain their main receiver, they got a shot. And I think they could win by anywhere between 3 to 5 points. But unfortunately, even though I'm, it's like all I have to do is open the door and Cincinnati's right there. I hate to say this, but I'm gonna take Buffalo in this one, and by the slimmest of margins, I'm saying 3.5.
It could happen for Cincinnati. Allen threw two interceptions, and he fumbled 3 times, lost one of them. Yeah, so
but they've got to put pressure. If they can put pressure on Josh Allen and maintain and contain that first receiver, they've got a shot, and they could win between 3 to 5 points. The only thing that scares me about this game is it's in Buffalo.
And the weather's supposed to be bad.
If it were in Cincinnati, I'd feel more comfortable, and I'd give Cincinnati the win 4 to 5 points. But being it's in Buffalo, no. You got to give this one to the Buffalo Bills, and probably 3.5 to 4 points.
Would Cincinnati have a problem with Damar Hamlin showing up for the coin toss?
No. As a matter of fact, if I were both teams, you know how I'd start this, and I know this sounds. I mean, I don't know if it sounds corny or not, but they should go to the middle of the field before the coin toss, and both teams pray.
Yeah,
and I'm dead serious. I mean, because there are, and I got it in my Abiding in Christ video about this. There are some things that are more important than the game, and our Christian relationship with Jesus Christ is the number one, and then comes life and death. And when these instances happen, you've got to make decisions that you'll never make again.
That's a great suggestion, and I think the NFL world did get a glimpse that there are some things more important than the actual game.
And I honestly think that both teams should get together and pray before the game. And I hope that's what happens. If it doesn't, that's okay too. But I really do think that they should get together before the coin toss and pray in the middle of the field, just as a sign of unity and solidarity. And guys, yes, we're in a playoff game and that, but our relationship with Christ is more important, and developing that and having that grow. And I'm hoping that the Damar Hamlin situation changes his family, changes his friend, and changes his coaches and teams. And if there's not somebody that's accepted Christ, that they do come to accept him.
Lori, who do you got in this game?
Well, you guys have talked me all around the board here. I was thinking the logical ones would be Bengals, and then logical it would be the Bills, and I'm just going to go with everybody else and go with the Bills, because I feel like they have. I think the Lamar Hamlin thing will actually get him to win on this one.
Now, Bruins fan, he says Buffalo in a bad weather game. Has anybody heard about what the weather is going to be in Buffalo?
I was just looking.
Well, if it's 30 below, I mean, give the edge to the Bengals.
They have played some of those games.
I know. That's the last time that they hosted a playoff game. It was 30 below. It was against the Chargers.
Yeah, there's a 80% chance of snow. It looks like
in Buffalo.
Yep, 10-mile-an-hour wind.
What else is new?
Yeah,
that's not bad.
Yeah, snow is not as destructive as a lot of wind is, so that's good. 10-mile-an-hour wind.
Yeah.
It's not blizzard weather. We're
right,
good
it won't be like that Patriots game where they just couldn't throw.
Okay, so everybody is down with Buffalo except for Justin. Justin's got Cincinnati. My son Philip, my son Justin Neely was on our show each week last year. He couldn't be this year. Actually won our picks competition last year, but his hours changed at work, so he can't be with us this year. But this week he sent me his picks ahead of time. All right, Lori, our next game is the Dallas Cowboys at the San Francisco 49ers.
So Dallas is seeded number 5. They're 12-5, and they're playing the second-seeded San Francisco 49ers, who are 13-4, and San Francisco is favored by 4 points. That's all. I'm shocked.
Well, I mean, we did see Dak Prescott account for 6 touchdowns? I think 5 throwing and 1 rushing. That's pretty impressive from Dak there. That was
best game of his career, I'm sure.
bounce back game for sure.
I can tell you, dude, I mean, all you have to do is look at past history and some of the past NFL films, and you know that this game is going to be a game for both teams, and both teams are going to be out for blood on this one. It's just who's hungry.
Phil, speaking of past history of Dallas at San Francisco in the playoffs, Lori and I have a good friend that I worked with. His name is Jerry Ellis, that was sitting in the end zone during the Dwight Clark catch game. He was right there, just feet away from that catch.
And I'll start you off on this one. I honestly think that I picked Frisco in this one. This can go either way. It's just like the Bills and Bengals game, but the only negative though is Purdy's just kind of he's kind of a rookie quarterback in that. But yeah, I still would pick Frisco in this game. McCaffrey's really good, and that Mitchell receiver is really good too.
A touchdown catch last week. Dan, who do you have?
I was gonna go. I'm definitely going the Niners on this one. These are very talented teams. If Dak plays the way that he played, Purdy's not going to match it, but I don't think he's going to play that well against that Niners defense.
Superstars all over the field.
2nd and 10. Prescott protected. End zone caught. Touchdown. Dalton Schultz.
Gone through this second quarter.
2nd down and 4. Prescott. End zone touchdown. Dallas. Schultz's second of the night.
Is Dalton Schultz a hot tight end or what?
Yeah, he is. You know who's not hot? The field goal kicker for the Cowboys.
Yeah, really.
Oh my gosh.
That's the other thing. If it comes down to field goals, this Frisco will definitely win. And that field goal kicker or extra point kicker, he's toast at the end of the season. He's probably lost his job. I mean,
it's hard to say.
It's one thing like to have like what happened to McPherson, where you miss your first one in the playoffs, as opposed to missing not one, not two, but 4 in a row. That guy's toast. He's gone at the end of the season.
Yeah, it's never good when your head coach and quarterback are trying to defend you in their press conference, trying to defend the field goal kicker in their press conference today. Brett Mayer, it's probably too late to replace him.
Yeah,
we just got to try to buck up his confidence. Actually, going into the game though, he had a decent season. He really did have a pretty good year. And you get the yips, and I think that's what happened to him. It's kind of like Rick Ankiel, who was a major league pitcher. And all of a sudden, he could not throw a strike to save his soul, or like Chuck Knobloch getting the yip, playing the second base for the Yankees, and all of a sudden he couldn't throw the ball from second base to first base accurately. I watched some of those games on TV and watched him throwing into the box seats. It's the yips, and right now, Brett Mayer has the yips.
We all get the yips.
Yeah.
It's just a bad time for Dallas to do that. But like I said, there are stars everywhere. You got Anthony Pollard, running back for Dallas. Dak Prescott. Schultz is playing really well right now at tight end. CeeDee Lamb has more than earned his number 1 spot there. They got T.Y. Hilton. So San Francisco's loaded as well. They got Ayuk at receiver. George Kittle has put together a fantastic last half of the season. I think he has 11 touchdowns, one short of Travis Kelce.
But he came on strong at the end of the year.
He did come on strong at the end, and that's when you want one of your players coming on strong. These are 2 playoff teams that have not played each other yet this year, but they have a common opponent in Tampa Bay. And San Francisco beat Tampa Bay 35-7, and we saw what Dallas did to Tampa Bay last week. The thing I think about with San Francisco, though, We talked about it last week. San Francisco has such a physical team. You get them playing 49ers. Every team that played them this year lost their game next week. And that's because they get beat up physically, and it takes them a couple of weeks to recover from playing the 49ers. And I do think that the Bruins fan says game of the year, in my opinion, hardest game for me to pick personally. I agree. Like the experienced quarterback against a good defense. Purdy has not faced a defense like Dallas. But I'm not sure that Dallas has faced an offensive line like San Francisco's.
Yeah.
And Trent Williams. Bruins fan gives a slight edge to Dallas. The overall thinking in my head when I started looking at this game in the playoffs is that no Super Bowl team has ever won the Super Bowl with a rookie. And there have been a lot
Are you sure about that? What about Hostetler for the Giants?
Look that up, Dan.
Yep.
That would be do you remember what year, Phil?
Let's see.
Well, I'm going to go with the
actually, he was a backup. He was 5 seasons he sat the bench, and then they brought him in. He just hadn't gotten a chance to play. So
he was in his 5th season, but his 1st season playing. Even the Chiefs didn't get to the Super Bowl with Mahomes. He actually set the bench his rookie year. No, I really think that's true. There's been no rookies that have won a Super Bowl. But on second thought, I think San Francisco could pull it off with Purdy. He has been outstanding in this season. I don't know.
I know us Bengal fans want it to be the orange and black versus the gold, because this time I think we got a shot if it's Bengals and Frisco.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams I think are capable of going to Super Bowl, and both these teams, Dallas and San Francisco, are definitely capable of going to the Super Bowl. So I'm like everybody else. I kind of had a hard time figuring on between Dallas and San Francisco, but because of the physicality, I'm going to go ahead and stay with San Francisco on this pick. In spite of the rookie quarterback, Brock Purdy. And then, Laura, you said San Francisco?
San Francisco.
And Bruins fan picked Cowboys. Justin picked San Francisco in his pick. Well, we need to come up with a combination of these picks to see what we're going to send to Rob's channel. We're in our weekly competition with Rob ! And we are behind. We gained the game last week. We were down by 7. We're now down by 6. I thought about picking all the underdogs.
The funny thing is he's on right now.
He's always on, and then when we close, I go join his channel and give him our picks.
You just happened. I just happened to chat with you and you invited me on, so I figured I'd come on here and that.
We're very glad you did. You had a lot.
I always ask Rob to come on, but he never sends. No offense, but I don't get a link. He never sends me a link to get on.
Well,
I would like to be on his channel here and there, but and that's of course that's up to him. I'm not faulting him for that. It's just I would like to be on his channel more because he's got a really great show in that, and he's got some really nice guys that know their stuff on football.
He did. And by the way, a fun fact, Lori, I didn't know until last week that he used to be he used to work for a country and western station in Virginia, and he got to interview all the country and western stars. Come on, he got to do it. Remember, he said when he did the interview with Faith Hill, he thought that was the name of a group.
Oh, you know it was a lady.
Yes, but she cleared him up of that misgiving. Now, I thought about sending Rob all the underdogs. I thought about sending him Jacksonville, New York, Cincinnati, and Dallas. so we would have a shot of catching up. What do y'all think about that?
No.
No.
Not a bad idea. I like it.
No.
Okay, we all picked Kansas City, so we'll send Kansas City. All but one of us picked New York Giants, so I think we'll go ahead and send them Philadelphia. And then let's see, a Buffalo game, all but one of us picked Buffalo, we'll send Buffalo. And all but one of us picked San Francisco, we'll send them San Francisco.
So we're being pretty safe here.
Yeah, we'll send them the true picks. Another news in the NFL, real quick before we leave. If you watch the game between Dallas and Tampa Bay, Russell Gage had a severe head and neck injury. Took a severe hit to the head and neck. Don't know why a flag was not thrown on that. But he had to be carted off to the hospital, and as of today, he is moving all of his extremities. So that is good news. Also, C.J. Stroud, Ohio State's quarterback, is going to enter the NFL draft. Jim Harbaugh said he's going to stay at Michigan. He was sending some feelers out about coaching in the NFL again, but he said either yesterday or today that he's going to stay at Michigan. Arizona hired Monty Ossenfort as the general manager. So now they'll get to hiring a head coach in earnest. Denver interviewed Sean Payton today. I don't think there's much chance of that happening, but you never know. And the Chargers fired Joe Lombardi. Also, Cleveland hired Jim Schwartz, familiar name, as a defensive coordinator.
Oh, boy. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go over and join Rob's channel. Dan, Philip, Lori, thanks for joining us today.
Yep.
And
I'm headed over that way myself.
Very good.
Take care, guys.
Thanks for
Good day,
joining,
everybody, and God bless.
Have a great week.
Thank you,
God bless.
Bruce Fan, also for your picks.